Hi, my name is Spike Baban, and I'm the president of National Vapors Club. We're a consumer group which educates legislators, scientists, and researchers about electronic cigarettes. This is an electronic cigarette. It has three parts. The largest part is a battery. The battery activates a heating element, which we call an atomizer, which then steams the liquid contained in this cartridge to make a visible steam and simulate smoking. This steam is the same steam that comes out of a fog machine that you would see in any Broadway show or club. It's been studied for 70 years and is classified by the FDA to be safe for human consumption. Hundreds of thousands of people, perhaps millions, use electronic cigarettes as an alternative to tobacco cigarettes. The electronic cigarette does not contain tobacco, it is not lit, it is not burned, and therefore produces no smoke. People who use the electronic cigarette call themselves vapors. You've likely been told that electronic cigarettes contain carcinogens and dangerous chemicals that are also found in antifreeze. However, you are not told that the trace level of carcinogens found in electronic cigarettes in the FDA's preliminary study was much lower than what you might find in a liter of natural tap water in your state. It was also lower than what is found in a day's use of the nicotine patch or the nicotine gum. In fact, there is a higher level of carcinogens in 2 slices of cheese or a glass of beer than there is in a full day's use of the electronic cigarette. As for antifreeze, you were probably not told that of the 18 samples tested, only one found any trace of this chemical, and it was less than 1%. Many other independent tests, which are listed in our legislature packet, have found no contamination at all. So the sample tested by the FDA seems to be an anomaly. If it were harmful in that quantity, there would have already been numerous reports of consumers falling ill from antifreeze poisoning, and this is not the case. A quick comparison of the FDA preliminary study results with our listing of nitrosamine levels in foods, also included in our legislature packet, will show you quickly the incongruence between the FDA press release and the study that they conducted. The American Association of Public Health Physicians has filed a petition with the FDA asking that they correct their misinterpretation of the press release and press conference that they held on electronic cigarettes. A quote from their petition: "As a direct result of the FDA July 22, 2009 press conference, many have concluded that e-cigarettes are as dangerous or more dangerous than conventional cigarettes, and that they are likely to attract large numbers of teens to nicotine who would not otherwise have initiated nicotine use. This has resulted in public statements and political action to restrict or ban e-cigarettes. The strongly negative tone of the FDA press conference created a situation in which people were encouraged to draw the incorrect conclusions noted above. I would also like to note that as an organization, we strongly encourage legislation which bans the sale of electronic cigarettes to minors. Just as children should not be drinking alcoholic beverages, they should not be consuming nicotine. You have probably been told that flavors in the device attract children, and it's meant to attract children. There are many things that have flavors. Flavors like cherry, cinnamon, vanilla, and mint, which are not geared towards children. Things like liquor, sex lubricants, and nicotine gum all come in the 4 flavors mentioned previously. We also have the issue of the fact that adults don't necessarily like flavored things that are meant for adults. Broccoli-flavored electronic cigarettes would not be pleasant. So, the same flavors that are pleasant to children are also pleasant to adults. Recently, in a federal court case, Judge Richard Leon ruled that the devices should not be banned from importation. This is a quote from his ruling available in the legislature packet shown at the link below. Together, both Smoking Everywhere and Enjoy have already sold hundreds of thousands of electronic cigarettes, yet FDA cites no evidence that those electronic cigarettes have endangered anyone, nor has FDA cited any evidence that electronic cigarettes are more an immediate threat to public health and safety than traditional cigarettes, which are readily available to the public. Furthermore, now that FDA has regulatory power over electronic cigarettes through the Tobacco Act, any harm to the public interest or to third parties caused by an injunction that merely forbids FDA from regulating electronic cigarettes as a drug-device combination is greatly diminished. He is suggesting that the FDA has the authority to regulate these products as tobacco products and should do so as a modified risk smokeless tobacco product. Some people seem to think that if electronic cigarettes were to become unavailable, that people who are currently using electronic cigarettes, who we call vapors, would just stop using them. These people have had a very difficult time quitting smoking. For a substantial portion of the vaping population, if e-cigarettes became unavailable, they would resume their former smoking habit. In fact, according to an online poll, nearly 61% indicated that if electronic cigarettes became unavailable, they would not try to find another smokeless alternative, they would just resume smoking. The hand-to-mouth habit is very powerful, and they need to maintain that, otherwise they fall back to cigarettes. Many people know this because they've tried many times, they've tried many other ways, and they've tried all of the alternatives and all of the NRTs, and they've failed to give up cigarettes. A bill to ban the sales of electronic cigarettes in California was vetoed by Governor Schwarzenegger. In his statement, he said, "If adults want to purchase and consume these products with an understanding of the associated health risks, they should be able to do so unless and until federal law changes the legal status of these tobacco products." Additionally, a bill to ban sales in Utah was amended to only ban sales to minors. Utah Representative Evan Vickers stated, "The compelling argument seemed to be that e-cigs do not pose as much of a threat as tobacco products and that they are a tool to quit smoking." I'm a college professor. I study behavioral psychology. Some behavioral psychologists are very concerned that the mimicking the smoking habit by the hand-to-mouth action is something that smokers have a very hard time giving up, and that the people who use these devices will be encouraged to continue smoking. These people have been smoking for most of their lives already, some of them for more than 40 or 50 years, and this is a habit that's very difficult or maybe impossible for them to let go. They've tried using the gum and the patch, and they've always returned to tobacco cigarettes. It has not been successful because it does not address this habit with which they've become so comfortable, and it's almost impossible for them to give it up. People have a very strong fear of the image of smoking and that hand-to-mouth action. That's obvious, but it's not the government's job to regulate a behavior unless it's harmful to others. A number of studies have shown us that the vapor content is non-toxic and the trace levels of carcinogens cannot be considered to be dangerous at that concentration. We have evidence of that again in our legislature packet. The link is below. It is very evident when one is in a room where someone is smoking tobacco. You can smell it, you can see it, and you can feel it almost. It makes you choke. With an electronic cigarette, the comparison is only visual, since there's no odor of smoke. There may be a slight scent of whatever flavor the person is using to vape, cherry or cinnamon or mint. If the person has a very keen sense of smell, or if they're standing within 12 to 16 inches of the person who's using the device, there is no visual vapor coming off of the device unless it's actually being used and activated, which makes it very easy to differentiate from a tobacco cigarette. In fact, it's not lit on the end unless you're actually using it. So someone across the room would not mistake it for a cigarette easily because you can see that there's no smoke coming off of it. It's not lit. This technology is very new. Further studies are needed, but none of the studies that have been done to date provide any reason to think that they are harmful, and there is no doubt in anyone's mind that they're obviously safer than cigarettes. Please do not take away what may be a potentially life-saving choice for millions of smokers who could someday use this as an alternative. The legislative packet that we've included at the link below and that we provided for you will show references for all the statements that I've made. We're happy to point you in the direction of any statistics that you cannot easily locate, and we have representatives in every state. We are happy to send one of your constituents to speak with you and show you an electronic cigarette and how it works. We can do it at your convenience, and we can even provide contact information for them directly so that you can set up the appointment with them. If you have any questions about this video or any questions about the legislature packet itself, please feel free to contact us with questions. If there are studies that you'd like to see results of that you cannot find in the legislature packet, please contact us and let us know. We work with a group called Vapors International Research Group who does studies on electronic cigarettes, and they have some studies that have not been published yet, but we're happy to provide the results for you if it will help you to make a more educated decision. Before you ban this product, please think about what you're doing to the millions of people who now have a choice to not smoke tobacco cigarettes. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and thank you for listening. We hope that you'll make an educated vote now that you have a little bit more information. And if you have any questions, again, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you for your time.